Listen real quick before we get into the video that's coming up. I uploaded a video a couple of days ago entitled How I More Than Doubled My Income in 2 years. Listen, I'm gonna leave a link in the description. I'm gonna leave a link somewhere in the cards up at the top. You might see it popping up here. I want you guys to take a look at that video. Leave it a like, leave it a comment. Let's try to get it high in the YouTube search algorithm. Listen, at the end of the day, I get it. I understand why I get more views on the relationship dating type videos, but I want you guys to understand the importance of finding your purpose, finding your passion, being financially literate. Like, these are all the things that are forming us into men. And I get it's cool and funny to look at all these dating videos and see how you can kind of one up women in your life, but really this is the type of information that we have to spread amongst us as men, amongst us as people, you know, because it's information that I don't think is as widely utilized, and I want you guys to be able to utilize it. Remember, you need to invest in yourself, and there's resources out there that are available to us unbeknownst to you that can help you get into a better situation, financial situation, and much more closer to your purpose. So have your fun, watch those videos, but then also take the opportunity to go back and really focus on who you are and how could you build on that. All right, hopefully the resources that I talk about in the video will help you do that. So go watch that bag talk video. All right, enough of me rambling, on to the video.
Since you ugly anyways, I mean, all that matters is that I'm in the screen, that I'm in pure view. I'm in pure view. Smile look great on the camera, I ain't gonna lie. Smile look great.
1 second, bro.
Yeah.
1 second. I gotta clear the camera. I gotta make sure these motherfuckers are ready.
Stick it right here.
What up, YouTube? I am your host, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, back in here with yet one more video, joined by my bros. Please introduce yourselves.
It's your boy Axel Foley, raining from the 919. It was good.
Durham, what up?
Yeah.
Jay Nash, new to the area. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, listen. I had to bring my bros through again to introduce them to AMS, Alpha Male Strategies.
Oh yeah.
They are not familiar with who this man is. Like, so just so y'all know, he's a dating coach. He's not a relationship coach. He teaches things that I feel like is God, like locker room talk. Like, it's the way that we would normally talk about women if women cannot hear us.
It's the bros.
It's just the bro. It's just the bro talk. You know what I'm saying?
Now we exposing it.
Yeah, he's exposing it to other dudes in order to teach them how to date effectively and correctly. So it's a lot of good content that he uploads, and it's just true to the game. So listen, so I want to introduce them to it with y'all watching as well. Questions, comments, concerns, you already know, put it down in the description box down below. But the video that we're going over today is one of AMS's recent videos. I haven't seen it, they haven't seen it. Signs you should not date a woman.
Which is hard to generalize because I feel like every man has a different sign.
Exactly. It's very relative.
And very relative to what you like.
Yeah, but even outside of a dude, there should be things specific to a woman that's just, no matter what, absolutely, red flag, no go.
I agree.
I don't know, man. My red flag might be your red flag, you know what I'm saying?
No, there's some things that's just like
there's universal reds.
Yeah,
universal reds.
we gonna see.
We gonna see. All right, gentlemen. Anything to say before we get started in the video?
I'm interested in, like he said, it's the red flags are so relative. I'm interested to see what these signs are, to see if I relate to the actual signs.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what Alpha Male Strategy is talking about, man. Yeah. Is this your mentor?
Nah, he just he just another YouTuber. And I came across his videos and I banged with his knowledge. He like writes books. He sells books on Amazon. He's a dating coach. I haven't looked into that, but my thought is that it does because he's blown up on YouTube.
So it's like a hitch?
And he's a southern dude. He lives in New York. You could think of it like a hitch, but from like a hood dude's
hood hitch.
Yeah, it's a hood hitch. That that's
we copywriting that. So don't even try to take hood hitch.
That might be the new channel.
Exactly, low key.
Low key. All right, the intro been long enough. Without further ado, let's get right in it.
Gang.
I don't What's up, fellas? So I came up with some red flags to let you know when you should not date a woman. Alright? Now, keep in mind, this don't mean you don't fuck the motherfucker. We fuck these bitches too. Alright? These just signs that you should not consider putting a girl in your rotation or date a girl. These are going to typically be the women that you fuck, and you probably need to keep it moving. Alright, guys? So keep that in mind. This don't mean you see one of these signs and you haul ass. That ain't what I said. We fuck these hoes to sleep too. Alright? So keep that in fucking mind. Alright? The first thing, guys, is right off the bat, pushing for a relationship from the jump. Alright? Guys, this is a terrible sign. Alright, when you see a woman, and so how a woman would push for, how you can tell a woman's pushing for a relationship right from the jump, guys, is she'll be wanting to see you the next day, or say you like y'all went out on a Wednesday, and she'll be hinting around that she free tomorrow or she free Friday or some shit like. She trying to move things along. Alright, that's when you know a girl is trying to push for a relationship. This is not a good sign, because the way things work, guys, is a woman naturally has to screen a man out. A woman's supposed to have plenty of suitors that want to be with her, and she have to screen guys out. That's the way it is. When a woman walk out door, 5 guys supposed to be in her face every fucking day, and she have to weed guys out off of whatever she wants. All right. And that's the way the hierarchy works, man. You ain't gotta like it, but that's the way it is. A man has to prove himself to a woman. You ain't gotta like it, but that's the fucking way it is. All
right, gents, I heard you say that you don't agree with that. Talk about it real quick.
So I'm gonna leave real quick. I don't agree that a woman has to necessarily sort through suitors, right? Not to say that she shouldn't have, maybe, quote unquote, in today's day and age, a roster, but that doesn't mean that roster leads to suitors. A woman can have a roster that's just people she's dating or messing with, but that doesn't mean she has suitors. So for him to talk about a woman should walk out the house and have 5 to 6 guys who she's choosing from and or suitors, to me is not relevant, because she might not be in a place to actually want to be in a relationship.
So I think you guys are actually speaking the same tune. You're just saying that she has a roster where she has orbiters around her.
Well, he's saying that he's expecting every woman should walk in the door and automatically have 5 or 6 dudes lined up waiting for it, waiting to holler at her. That's what he's basically saying.
Well, I think most women have 5 or 6 dudes that she could bang with, mess with at any given time if she chooses.
But it's depending if they meet her qualifications or what she's looking for in the guy.
Which is tough.
It's tough. But it's tough. We were talking about last time is relative. You know what I'm saying? Every woman had different standards. So like, I see what he's kind of saying, but I don't feel like it just resonating with me. And I think it will resonate with me a little bit more if he had that fake ass plant in the background. But that's for another story. Mr. Alpha Male, get them fake plants out the background. Sorry, he's distracted me from your ball head. So, but I keep I'm sorry.
I think outside of that, the relativity to it, I just think that it's in the way he speaks, he regards women as all women ready to be suited. Correct, right? Which most women who, in my experience, a lot of them, to my point, right, have rosters as far as in male counterparts as well, right? If you describe what you have as a roster, you're not trying to be suited.
Exactly.
So for him to talk about a woman should walk out the door, it's like walk out the door and have 5 to 6 suitors. That's relative to your location. I mean, a lot of it is relativity to me. Personally, that's how I feel about it.
Well, do you think it depends on what she defines as a suitor, right? Like is someone in your roster a suitor? And if so, then I think most women, and a lot of dudes, have 5 to 6 suitors. The problem is
what do you consider a suitor though? That's the thing.
So it's dating suitor, like someone who you might mess with on a Friday or Saturday night. It don't mean like a relationship suitor or a marriage suitor. But I think most women have something.
Okay, but that's a roster.
But I think men and women, we both have rosters.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
But what are you dating for? I feel like people date for different reasons. You might date to fuck. You might date to get a relationship. You might date to fucking find your wife.
Yeah,
so
man and women.
Exactly. It depends on what you're looking for. That's what I'm trying to get at. So what we say suitor as very relative. What you consider like when I think of suitor personally, I think it's somebody I'm looking for to garner a relationship to potentially lead to marriage. For me personally, that's something someone else like for you might say I'm looking for a suitor for tonight.
No, that's a good point.
I definitely get that.
It's a sliding scale.
I guess when in his regard to what he's speaking about, for me, suitor is to what you're talking about, right? We're talking about relationship down the road, trying to see marriage and all that. That's the suitor I get that he's talking about.
No. He's talking about women you should not date. That don't mean that I am looking for this woman to be in a relationship with. It just means that if she starts talking about all this relationship stuff on the first date, I should not date her because what she's looking for, what I'm looking for, we're not hearing each other.
But I'm sorry, because I disagree with that because I appreciate someone telling me their expectations up front. If someone's looking, if I'm going on a date, my first date, saying like I am looking for someone who I can develop and build with. I'm glad you tell me that up front. I don't want, if I'm going to a relationship or going to this night looking for someone for tonight, you know what I'm saying? My expectations and her expectations might be different. So I'm glad she's telling me up front that she's looking for a relationship. So I can understand it up front.
Yeah.
So how is that a red flag?
No. He's not saying, nobody's saying that if they say that, go the other way.
Yeah.
But so he's assuming that you don't want a relationship. That's what I'm saying. He's a dating coach, not a relationship.
Yeah. So I'll put it this way.
Dating, what's the point of dating though? Dating has an end goal, right?
The end goal might be the butt.
I'll put it this way.
It's different.
I'll put it this way. This is how I guess this is how I relate to it, right? Where he speaks to it as it's a red flag up front. If I meet you night one and your night one conversation is about us being in a relationship long term, then it's a red flag initially. But to your point, if I meet you and we speak to you being intentional about what you want out of this conversation, I can appreciate you coming to me and being like, look, I got X and Y going on. I'm out here with my girls, but we've had conversations, and I want this to go X. I want this to go X way.
Yeah, exactly.
I can appreciate that intentionality behind you telling me that versus that being intentional to be like, yo, I'm trying to get in a relationship. But to your point, and I'll say this in environments I've been in, where it's just like women who approach me with that much intentionality, I'm like, yo, you don't even know who I am. I get your intention. Like, you might have came out here like, look, I'm looking for a man, and I get that. That's cool. But when you put that on me, it's
whack.
It's whack, and it's not fair.
I disagree and agree at the same time. I feel like it's important for her to establish what her intentions are up front. You know what I'm saying? For me, I feel like it's important for if a woman, if she's at a point where she's looking for a relationship and a man to marry, it's important for her to establish it up front. And that's so I can know what she's looking for.
But night one, like
date one though, bro.
If I'm on a date,
date one, this is pre-date one.
What I'm saying is like she might be saying like, you might not be.
You know why?
What I'm saying, you might not be the one that I'm looking for long term, but I'm letting you know right now that I'm looking for someone. I'm dating intentionally. It's dating with an intention to find someone I'm looking for long term. It's different from dating someone. I'm going on a date just to fuck the night. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that.
So I 100% hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And in fact, like, and I've had this situation happen where they talk about, okay, I have a goal, I have an expectation, and it might be marriage, and it might be a long-term relationship. I respect that, but I think like it's up to you to decide if you are about that life, and it's also up for you to decide if you want to deal with someone who says it that early. I think the best situations, let's say your goal is to get long term, is to be best friends with somebody before you get into that long term relationship or loving relationship. And you need to make that transition at some point. But I respect if she sets the expectation that like that's eventually what she's looking for. So she's looking for you to see if you are that person. But at the same time, I don't think that's something that you could ever force. And in fact, if she's trying to force this life for herself, that's going to happen in 2 years, she might be looking at you. But then what her expectations of you at that particular time, she might be settling on a couple of those, and y'all might be on the way to building something like that. But then it all starts to bubble up later. because like what she set out for herself, she's settling a little bit in order to hit some fucking goal that the culture told her that she should make it, or society told her that she should make it, or her mother told that she should make it, or all her goddamn aunties and grandmas at the barbecue that she went to 2 months ago told her that she would make it. Yeah, and she just wants a fucking man. And at the end of the day, it's just like, well, what's your purpose? What's your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? What's your business mind? Where are you trying to go as like a business, as an entity?
I hear what you're saying. I think for me, it's to everything that you said, that's heavy to put on somebody on the initial interaction.
It's heavy. Relax, girl.
Like no matter where I meet you, no matter how great our conversation is, everything you just prescribed to has been, and I put it in my experience, has been put on me in initial interaction. Yeah. Which you don't even know my background, what I'm like. You have no ideas about me. Right. All you have is this initial interaction with me, which is cool. This is great. We're getting to know each other. But for you to put all that, what he's talking about on me is like, he almost, to his point, it's almost a red flag where it's just like, yo, that's a lot. That's heavy lifting.
It's heavy for that.
For the initial reaction.
Okay, so
all right, so one more comment and then we gotta move on past it. So like, go ahead.
But what point should she establish she's looking for a long-term relationship? At what point? I'm saying, like, if she's dating intentionally.
Listen, I think
but what point should she make it clear that she's looking for a long-term relationship?
I can't tell you when, because the when is really also dependent upon what I'm looking for. But like at a certain point, if she has an expectation, she can let it be known that, like, you know, eventually I see myself in a marriage. Later on in that conversation, which might be months later, you can ask why that makes sense for her. Yeah. And oftentimes when you ask the why question, they believe in some fairy tale, or they're trying to live in the matrix where at the end of that shit, marriage is some type of conclusion of love or some bullshit like that. But meanwhile, as a man, you're stripping my rights away from me. You are putting me in a place that at the point that you want to disembark from that relationship, I have to pay spousal support if I make more money than you. I have to pay child support if I make more money than you. And in fact, I hear stories where they say I have to pay spousal support until she finds another husband, which is crazy. Like, so there's so much that's just like, it doesn't make sense to me.
What state does that exist in?
It's a lot of states.
In federal law?
Dog, there's a lot of states where that marriage shit is real, bro. And that's the thing, is that, like, and I talk about this shit on my channel, is that, like, a lot of times I feel like dudes don't know what we're fucking signing up for, right? Like, so, like, if I can have a long-lasting, loving relationship in a relationship and not put the government in it, why can't I just do that? Because at the point that I put the government in it, you're saying, oh, okay, I am legally bound to this human being for the rest of my fucking life.
That's a whole different video. We could go on that.
We can. All right, you want to keep going?
Yeah, let's go on this, because that's a whole different topic. That's a whole different topic.
We can talk about...
Ladies, first date.
Ain't no girls watch this.
Ladies, first date. According to these guys right here, only ask what's your favorite color, what's your favorite food, what's your favorite sport. Don't get any deeper than that.
Get me attached to you.
Don't get any deeper.
I want to get to know you. That's not a bad thing. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know you.
Favorite color, favorite food, favorite sport. That's it. Don't ask me anything. Don't say anything else.
What you ate for breakfast?
How you doing today? That's it.
Exactly. I want to get to know you first.
Let's get back to fake flowers and fake trees in the background.
Yo, stop hating on my man, bro. Stop hating on my man. I got a fake tree right over there.
Oh my God.
I got a fake tree right over there. I'm gonna give y'all a tour one of these days.
All right. And what do I mean by that? Well, a man has to go up and approach the woman and hope she wants to go on a date, or give her his number. All right. So you're trying to prove, and when you go up to her, what you trying to do? You trying to act confident and smooth, and, you know, not show that you're nervous and shit like that. Show confidence. You trying to prove yourself. You're trying to prove that you're pre-selected, that, you know, this ain't nothing to you, that you used to getting women's numbers. You're proving yourself. Then you're gonna wait a few days because you don't want to look needy and desperate. You're trying to prove that you're not, you know, too easy, and that you ain't got nothing going on. So you wait 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, however long you want to fucking wait. But you waited. When in actuality, you wanted to call her when you got home, but you didn't. Why? Because you wanted to prove to her that you had a life, that you had other shit going on, that you're not desperate. Then you're gonna call up and talk on the phone, and you're gonna ask her out, and you wanna sound like you got a good conversation going on for 5 or 10 minutes when you ask her out or whatever. Sound like you're interested.
All right, go ahead.
So I have full blown comments on this perspective of desperation, right? Where I don't feel like desperation is just because you want to reach out. Desperation to me is equivalent to a feeling, right? Where it's just like, if you want to talk to somebody or you want to reach out to somebody, that should not put you in a box of desperation. If I meet you night one and I'm like, yo, I really fucking connect with her, or we really had a bond, or like I got her number for a purpose and I text you and or call you, that's not desperation to me. That just tells me like, yo, I'm intentional about how I'm approaching you. I think that we had a real ass connection, and I think that we could really take this shit somewhere, right? Exactly. Desperation for me is just a terminology somebody uses to be like, yo, you look, I mean, in our day and age it's called thirsty, right? Where it's just like, if you want to talk to somebody, you know, I meet you night one and I reach out to you night one, you might text your girls and be like, oh, this man's thirsty. You know, I just met him last night. He already hit my line. He can call me and text me, he thirsty. Yo, no. First off, I'm not thirsty. And second off, it's not desperation either, right? If I'm really reaching out to you with intentionality, I want to actually spend time with you. I want to get to know you. And then, but then now as I talk through it, and the flip side of it is there might be some kind of thirst. And,
yo, you know what's crazy? I wanted to cut you off so many times, but like as I watched you go down the path of your mind, and as you described it, you eventually came out to the end goal. And the end goal of what he's talking about, what I think that you just eventually concluded, is that like, no matter what, we have to be purpose-filled men, and amongst our purpose, we have to prioritize what we do in our life over women. Always. Always. Sure. And we should never stumble. For sure. So, because at the end of the day, you can get a chick to be like, oh, he hits me up all the time. And because you hit them up all the time, they lose respect for that. Mm-hmm. And because they lose respect for that, well then, okay, I gotta deprioritize you.
But I think part of that they lose respect for them is how they respond to me hitting you, like to the guy hitting them up, right? So if you're the female and I'm hitting you up and you're giving me feedback, you're not really deprioritizing me because you are engaged in the conversation, right? But if I'm hitting you up and you just keep blowing me off and I'm just blowing your line up, that's a totally different road to go down.
And dudes do that. They will overcompensate communication via text, via calling. You know what I'm saying? So there's a fine line that you have to hit. You know what I mean? But like, that's not to say like everyone texts or calls like us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because there's a lot of dudes out there, and some of them, you know, may watch the channel and they just are unsure how much communication that they should put forth to raise their market value. You know what I mean?
It comes down to what you're used to. It comes down to what you're used to. For me, like I like talking on the phone. For me, I think it's important to. I feel like it's a new generation, social media. Everyone's used to texting and not talking. I feel like, for me personally, I love developing that relationship and hearing your voice, hearing your emotion, hearing how you react to what I'm saying. You can't really get. I feel like a lot of times in text messages, everything gets lost in translation. So you have to be able to, on a cell phone, on the phone, you're able to hear that, hear the emotion, hear the breath, hear how they receive everything you're saying. So I think you have to. It's important to do that. It's the piggyback what he's saying. I feel like it's. I don't know. I think it's not a thirst with texting someone the same night you meet somebody. It's personal. Like it comes out what you're saying. It's a connection. And if I feel deeply connected with you, I'm gonna reach out to you that same night or maybe that same day. You know what I'm saying? It depends.
I'd argue that will never. There's no benefit. It may feel
no benefit of what?
So like let's say that like you meet someone, you connected immensely. If you hit them up that same, let's say you meet someone for brunch. And you hit them up like later that evening. There's no benefit. I mean, there's now. Listen. Let me explain that because I have had situations where I hit them up that night and that ends up to a good evening. Now,
what's a good evening?
Now, what I will say is that like it can end off like that. But you waiting to the next day after you get done whatever work that you got to do that night or that next morning, like they'll still hit you back up that next day. If it was a good connection, just because you waited a day or 2 days, they'll still hit you back up if it was a good connection.
Okay.
Now what can happen
what
is
kind of connection
now listen.
What kind of connection you talking about?
What can happen is you do hit them up. You do hit them up that night. And they're like, oh, he's thirsty.
Okay, all right. What kind of connection? We're talking about you hit somebody, you meet somebody, you chill that night. Next morning, you talking about next morning after text message, or you talking about you met somebody out that night and you just hope you got home safe. Nice meeting night. Hope you got home safe. Boom, boom, boom.
I think that's a squirrely subject.
It's the correlation of timing, right? Where like he said he met somebody at brunch. So you tell me you said you met somebody at brunch. So I'm guessing you was out probably like
1, 2, 3.
noon to 3, right? You met
boom.
you met somebody from noon to 3, right? Didn't hit her up that night, but then ended up hitting her the next day. In her mind, she might be like, "Yo, so that was a real connection. Like he hit me up last night. He wasn't trying to come through. He just really wanted to get to know me, as opposed to like you hitting her up at 11 p.m. that night. Like, yo, brunch was crazy. It was cracking. I'm glad we met. And now you hit her up, and then the conversation shifts because in her mind she might be like, oh, so he's just trying to get it in.
Pause. What if you meet somebody that night? So you go out tonight, you go to a bar or whatever, you meet somebody like, it's 10, 11, 12. And then you text them at like 1 a.m. Nice to meet you. Let me know when you get home. Boom, boom, boom.
I mean, you.
I don't think. Let me know when you get home. Make sure you got home safe. Text somebody. Make sure you got home safe.
I think I don't think it adds value. I think.
I get home safe. Get home safe. Text not a value add. Not an MVP, minimum value product. He talking about consulting. Then
he talking about NBA shit.
We got
minimum viable product. These NBA niggas, I swear to God. Anyway, I feel like I'm gonna text him real quick. I feel like you can if you want to. Waiting to the next day until about 1, 2 p.m. after you work out in the morning. You know what I'm saying? After you go over the work things or the errands that you got to do tomorrow, and then forming a conversation. Then here's the thing: if you treat her like a star, she will treat you like a fan.
I don't believe that.
If you treat her like a star, she will treat you like a fan. If you give her the power, she has the opportunity to corrupt. Now, it don't mean that they will all corrupt. Because I don't think all women are trash, as a lot of my subscribers actually think that they hate all women. I don't know why. You guys are actually kind of weird to me, but
oh my God.
But if you, think about it for you, bro. You have all the power.
I have a girlfriend back home.
Okay.
Back in my home. I treat her like a queen, and she treats me like a king. That's what I'm saying. You saying like you treat like a star, you treat like a fan. No, I feel like it depends. I feel like all of this is relative.
Yeah, but you're not in a dating game,
huh? I didn't get to this point without dating. You know what I'm saying? I had a date at one point. You know what I'm saying?
But you ain't dated in a while though.
It's been 3 years.
It's been a while. You ain't dated.
But I had to. But think about it comes back to what we were talking about early. Like early on, she was intentional about her desires when I met her. You know what I'm saying? Date. Wasn't date 1, date 2. We talked about intentions. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like she was very intentional about what she's looking for in a person, and what she's trying to build towards. And I was very intentional about what I'm looking towards and what I'm trying to build towards. And we had a mutual understanding. So I think it's very important for whoever you're dating have a mutual understanding and establish that early, because you want to get date 4, date 5, and like y'all disconnect. You know what I'm saying?
But I'll challenge that with this. Yeah. How long did it take you before you had that conversation with the right woman?
Well, the thing about it is, like, I have, like, we were talking about these damn checklists or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, the girl who, my girlfriend now, she see all the checklists, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I knew from day one, like, we talked through our original conversations, like, I had things I'm looking for in a woman, and she exceeded all that shit.
So, were you thirsty the first night you got her number?
Oh, okay. Before I know her, she
was friend to friend,
huh? So I met her at a Halloween party, okay, and she looked good. I didn't know anything about what she got going on, but
you got the number at the party?
No, I didn't get the number.
You got from a friend to friend.
So I met her at the party, and she had a boyfriend at the time.
Okay.
And she really wasn't entertaining me because she had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
But I was very persistent. As
So
if
you was
do
thirsty.
that.
You was thirsty.
I was very thirsty.
You was thirsty. Okay.
I was very thirsty.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying, the thirst went out.
The thirst was quenched. The thirst was quenched.
We can get to this later. It's off the side of it's
It's a
very
good topic and subject.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's also what we talk about on this channel is that, like, you know, someone in a relationship or it likes the idea of marriage relationships, they always want to keep a suitable male somewhere in pocket.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so whether or not it's the boyfriend or whether or not it's the one in the DM, you know what I'm saying? And you was the one in the DM. She made it work.
I did slide in the DM.
Yeah. But let me just. So here's my thing, cause you know, like, so I'm a little bit older than both of y'all.
Barely.
And barely.
Barely.
But like my idea of ultimate relationship is not marriage.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, it's connection. It's connection. So like, as long as the goals that you had set forth that got her to be locked in place is not based in something that will remove your rights as a man without you understanding ultimately the risk of what that means, then I'm cool. Otherwise, I feel like we should have conversations on what it actually means, because I feel like in the value in a lot of these dating videos is they talk about is dudes who have been through the ringer, and they talk about like what they talk about is what they wish they would have known prior to signing their name on a dotted line. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's that's to me what I guess understanding what marriage really means, right? Like I don't come from a household. Yeah, well, I don't really come from a household of like where marriage is popular, right?
I don't.
So where it's like it's you then begin.
So then why marriage? Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah,
let's get into the video.
So you begin to deconstruct the concept of what marriage actually is, right? Which at the end of the day, it is a monetary valuation on you.
So is that
and
the
your
benefit? So the benefit might be a monetary contribution, but when we both know that men more often than not in 2019 make more of the money. So it depends. It definitely depends.
But you have to pay to get married. Like, and you think about the hindsight of things, right? When you talk about a relationship and building something with somebody, you shouldn't have to pay to structurally spend the rest of your life with somebody, right? I have to pay the government to marry you for the government to tell me you are legally bound to this person financially. Essentially, is what it is. Because you take away the construct of marriage, right, and everything that entails with it. If you take away the construct of marriage, there's no financial burden, right? If you marry your girl tomorrow and you decide that you want to be married to her anymore, you have a financial burden to her, right? As opposed to that has nothing to do with your connection. Absolutely nothing to do with the connection of what you've built. I mean, what you've built might be a little different, right? If you guys are determined to invest together and like financially have supported each other, then that's different, right? But from a governmental perspective, that's the whole concept of like alimony, right? You wouldn't have to pay alimony if you never got married. But that's a governmental implicated application of you getting married.
It's a part of, you know, the bond. It's a part of the contract. It's just something that, like, you know, I'm not sure a lot of dudes understand and know what that actually means, you know, until it actually happens. Sorry. Yeah. Oh. Sorry. All right, we're gonna get back in the video real quick.
Check out the video.
All right.
Interesting person or whatever. So you're trying to prove that you have conversation skills, that you have social skills. All right. The woman don't give a damn about none of this bullshit. The woman don't give a damn. A woman will send you choosing signals, but that's all she gonna do. She don't give a damn if you approach her, you don't. She ain't gonna lose a wink of sleep over it. All right. By the time she turn that fucking corner, she won't even remember your ass. All right. So it's all up to a man. The woman has the vagina, and the man has to prove himself to her, his value. All right. When you go on a date, you ain't the woman. You ain't shit testing the woman. All right. You ain't shit testing her. All right. The most you gonna shit test her is by not complimenting her and shit like that. But the woman is gonna flat out shit test you with direct action, showing up late, texting on the phone. All right, she gonna direct being quiet and shit. She gonna directly shit test you, might poke fun at your shirt or something your hair do or something like that. Test to see what you made of. Might say, hey, drink this, even though you told her already you don't even drink alcohol. All right, so you trying to prove something to her. The woman ain't trying to prove shit to you. All right, so just that alone, when a woman is pushing for a relationship from the get-go, that tells me right there that she obviously don't have a lot of suitors that's pushing for a relationship with her. She probably got a lot of people that want to fuck her, right? But she don't got a lot of guys that are trying to get in a relationship with her. And that's caused her to be desperate with you. Now, what I say about this, guys, is we're gonna fuck these hoes too, right? But the issue with this comes into play is that a woman should naturally not be like this. So if you see this, why would guys not want to be in a relationship with her? They probably know something you don't. You ever thought about that? Have you guys ever seen the gullible guy that was with a girl, dating a girl, and she the biggest slut, and everybody know but him, and everybody laughing at that motherfucker? You all remember that slut that was in school, and the one fool who didn't know she was a slut? Everybody knew she was a slut, but this sucker. Alright? And that's what you gonna have here. So you can either have that, she have a bad reputation, or something's wrong with her personality. Whatever the reason is, she don't have a lot of guys asking for her for relationships. And alright, guys, and so maybe they know something that you don't know. I just want to put that out there, guys. Alright, maybe she sucked a lot of dicks in the country that you don't know about. Don't be that guy that's out with that slut, but you don't know her, and everybody.
Sure. All right, go. So real quick. So I know you got a comment on to a new challenger enters the arena. They call. What's up with you, bro?
It's good, my G.
Hey man, welcome. All right. So the video that we're doing right now is signs you should not date a woman. So dating coach Alpha Male Strategy. She's going over like his tips on when you know not to date a woman. Coach. So you said you got something to say.
I got a comment about it. So I mean, as an older male in this kind of dating arena and in a new market, right? At what point is baggage something you either consider or don't consider, whether or not you really know about it, right? So like me coming to a new city, I might not know about a girl that everyone else knows about, right? But how much am I supposed to consider the baggage they tell me is included with her as I learn about the landscape that I'm in?
But it depends on the baggage, though. I mean, is it a child?
I mean, I'm so like what he was talking about. I mean, he was making references to like her being a slut, right?
Yeah.
Which I mean can mean many different things depending on where you're at. You know, in basic context, you know, you might think that she was out here, quote unquote, hoeing around, or she slept with a lot of dudes, might have did a lot of shit. But at what point are you just like, yo, all that shit has nothing to do with me because I wasn't here, that's in your past, and the person that I know you as today is who I'm trying to mess with, right? So that's what I'm saying, like, at what age or at what point in your dating cycle are you like, baggage is a part of me understanding the women I'm about to mess with? Because like where I'm from, and I'll say this real quick, just a little quick preference, right? I'm from a smaller city, you know, and I know baggage on almost everybody, right?
Yeah.
Like I come from a place where talkers talk, people talk. So if you and my homeboy my homeboy hits me up like, yo, so and so is dating so and so, in my mind, I already know both their baggage, and I'm kind of in my head where it's just like. But at the same time, I'm like, bro, we're all grown as fuck. You know, that shit is relative to anybody you're messing with, right? Like, everyone's got something he or she is bringing along with him, right?
Well, I think, like, so in my 20s, I was always trying to find a chick that I felt like is the least touched. And then going into my mid to late 20s and then into my 30s, I think that I came to the understanding that I will never know.
Right.
So
But
why
do
does
you
it
want to
matter?
know?
But why does no? So I will never know. So then why does it matter?
Exactly,
Even
right?
if you wanted to know, you still would never.
So because you came
still
to
never
a
know.
new city at that later point in time, so like
Yeah.
you're meeting all brand new women.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and there, in which, especially because, like, I'll say this, moving to a part of the country where a lot of people don't leave.
Yeah.
So you're coming into environments where people know people's baggage, right?
Yeah.
So you're coming fresh into a dating scene where you're like, you're surrounded by, you might meet old girl, but everybody around you and everybody around her knows that she got something that she's carrying with her. Whether it be a kid, whether she mess with old boy, whether she mess with old dude, like, there people around you know her a lot better than you know her. Right?
Yeah.
So at what point did you just like, you know what? Everyone's got that. And I don't really care.
But it just depends in every situation. Like if you know she messed with one of your direct mans within like the last year.
I mean, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, that's a tough
That's
one.
tough. That's tough.
Yeah. That's a tough one. But like it's just specific because like whatever number that she tells you, she's always gonna divide by 3.
Yeah, I mean the J. Cole rule.
Yeah, J. Cole rule. Yeah,
J. Cole
they always gonna divide by 3. So at the end of the day, you can't really care about that. You know, because they subtract numbers out the equation. Like if they was in Vegas, they just subtract that number. Like, and that's
you would
just
never know. Nobody never know. I mean, so it doesn't. You know, I wouldn't even hold any light or any weight to that because nobody knows her and God or whoever. Like, nobody will ever know. So she can tell you whatever. It's not gonna matter.
But should you care though?
I don't think you should because if you do care, you don't know.
I don't care at all. I don't think you should care at all.
Yeah, I don't think so. So, like, I think we're all in agreement that you should not care.
You shouldn't care. I mean,
and in
it's to a
fact,
point
like,
where
But if you do care, you're just gonna drive yourself crazy because you'll never know.
And you're insecure about it, right?
Yeah.
It's just like what's the point? Because I mean, if you only reason why you would care is because you're holding her to the same accountability that you're holding yourself to, right?
And
long as she's healthy.
Exactly. And well, that's
and the thing is, like, you shouldn't drive yourself crazy because at the end of the day, she did that with that person because that's who turned them on at that current period.
Persons, like it's just
and that's just is what it is. Like I don't care what it is besides that. Like you judging her based off of her decisions. Like you just have to accept that because at the end of the day, you probably would have did the same damn thing too if it was.
Or if you weren't. I mean, and then the flip side is to like the double standard of us being males and her being a female. You know that whole self-expression of what that actually means is very different contextually of how we're perceived versus how women are perceived.
All right, let's keep going real quick, bro.
They're laughing at you and you thinking like you got this fine bitch. You know how you have these fine bitches sometimes and everybody knows she'll slut but you. All right, guys. So you need to take heed to that. You don't want to be out with these girls. You want to be out with women that have value. All right. And the reason why you want that means that other guys are seeking them. Sluts don't get that, guys. They get a lot of dick thrown their way, but they don't get a lot of guys want to take them out to eat. They don't get a lot of guys want to spend a lot of non-sexual attention with them. All they get is a bunch of dick emojis and shit like that. All right, they don't get that. And so when she meet a guy that don't know her reputation, she has a tendency to want to push for a relationship. All right, do not put a girl in your rotation. I know we don't do relationships, but don't even put a girl in your rotation. It still looks bad. Alright, it looks bad to be out having drinks all the fucking time with the girl who suck all the goddamn dick. Alright, do you want me to say it like that? Alright, fuck it. That's how I said it, goddamn it. Do not be out with this fucking girl. Maybe it's not that. Maybe she's got this weird introverted personality. Who fucking knows, guys? I don't know. Maybe she got a fucking crazy daddy or a crazy ex-boyfriend. I don't know. But it is definitely a red flag when you see a woman pushing for a relationship. Alright? A woman does not do that. A man is supposed to prove himself to the woman, all right? And then the woman selects out of her many guys that's pursuing her who she wants to spend, most of her time mating with. That's the way it fucking goes, guys. I didn't make this rule. The woman don't propose to the man, all right? The woman don't ask the man out for a second date. The woman don't do shit. The man has to prove everything. When you leave the first date, you and the woman, I'm ready to fuck right now. Shit, what you waiting on? Now, you ain't got to prove shit to me. I'm ready to fuck right now. You got to prove something to the woman so she knows she want to mate with you. Because the woman don't want to sleep with a fucking simp. All right, guys? So that's the way that fucking work. A woman should not be pushing for a relationship. All right, and from the jump, 2 months in, yes. 2 months in, after you done, put the high value on and shit like that and hit her with the charisma, yes. From the jump, the first week, no. All right, guys. Second would be showing too much high interest from the jump. And we all love high interest bitches. We love them. They easy. They text you in the morning. I'm not knocking women who show high interest. But 5 text messages a day? How much interest do you fucking got? Alright, guys. So when I see this lets me know that this is probably gonna be a woman that's needy. Alright? You have high interest, you know, good morning, baby, nice text in the morning. And maybe she.
Let's talk about it real quick. I don't even know if we need to go on to be able to talk about this one. So he's saying if you get super high interest from somebody, then you should not date them. That's essentially what he said.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I'm gonna defer to him real quick because we had low key discussed this earlier.
Yeah.
I got comments for sure.
5 texts in a day?
Yeah, I feel like you can kind of assess the situation from early on. If you are getting that type of many text messages that y'all just met yesterday type of thing, like you might see some common characteristics that may repeat themselves further down in the relationship that you might not really want. Because if I'm already getting 5 texts and we just went to Chipotle yesterday, like I already can see that once we get serious or get in a relationship, I can only imagine if I'm at the gym and I'm not answering the phone, like
you gonna go crazy.
Yeah, like how you gonna feel, or it just so happens I'm at the house with my grandma chilling, watching TV, so I can only imagine how much you gonna hit my phone. My phone dies, you going crazy. So
I'm going stupid.
So it's already subtle things you can see like already assessed early on. So
yeah,
I do agree with this point.
And I push back a little bit because of the comment we talked about earlier. We talked about desperation, right? Where it's like when you talk about 5 text messages in the morning, to me that's needy. That might be needy and or desperation. But if you really connect with somebody and you're really fucking with somebody, I don't think that 5 text messages is out of.
But how do
scope.
you know if it's so early on? How do you know if you're fucking with them or not?
But I mean, I think that's just personal preference, right? I think it's just so much relative to the conference. Like if you were, it's so relative to your connection, right? And that's why I say connection, because you could wake up and text the church like, yo, I really fucked with her last night, right?
Right.
Or you could wake up and be like, yo, I met her last night. You could, because it's 2 ways. Where you can wake up and see 5 text messages and be like, yo, she's crazy. Like I gotta block her number, delete her, and never talk to her again. Versus like, yo, I had the same connection. You just woke up before I did, and I wasn't able to actually respond to.
So you may have sent those 5 messages if you'd have woke up early. Is what you're saying?
It for sure could have been a possibility, for sure.
After one date.
After not even a date, but just after just meeting her, right?
Well, here's the thing. So, like, let me try to break it down like this. It's a fine balance to build sexual attraction. And fact of the matter is, if you leave them in a state of not understanding where they sit in your life, they will become more attracted to you. Get in the camera, bro. They will become more attracted to you. The more that you validate where they are in your life pre-relationship, the less that they will respect you, because women often chase validation. They often chase understanding where they sit in your life. And if you cannot confirm that, if you make it known that you're a man about your purpose, you do your work, you do your thing, and they're second, if not third, if not fourth, then if they bang with you,
the ambiguity
it helps, but it also, they're trying to get to that third position. They're trying to get to that second position. They don't understand how your life is so consumed with creating financial gain that they can't come before that. And
prioritizing.
Listen, man, because they can be competitive. They can be competitive. It's sport, and they're trying to get to the guy, even if they don't really bang with you like that. They trying to, this motherfucker, did he know who I am? You know what I'm saying? And that's a component of it. Now, at the time, if they text you and you texting it back 30 seconds later, I got this nigga.
Yeah, you set a precedent.
I got this.
You set a precedent.
You know what I'm saying? I got him, you know.
But I still think five times is excessive. Yeah. Regardless of the situation or whatever the interaction was.
Like, I'm too
prior
busy.
to that.
I got things I'm building.
And why you not that busy that you can send just like, why you that free?
Listen. So, this is going on for like 50 minutes.
It's a long
It's a long video. All right, listen. So I feel like, what up, bro?
I had to come back.
Yeah, we tap your Kyle. Come back in here real quick. I got my bros with me. I got my bros with me. Listen, we about to go out here in a second. Listen, it's been your video. We gotta run this shit back. We gotta complete this video
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But like, listen, is anything to say before we conclude, gentlemen?
I mean, he makes good points, but he also I don't agree with some of the points. I mean, I'm in the middle when it comes to his dialogue on signs that you should not date a woman.
I know a little bit about the guy, so I feel like he's on one pole or the other. But that being so solid in your point, you're going to create controversy. And creating controversy, you're going to create a following of people that don't like you or do like you. You're going to create those conversations. So he's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, no, for real. He's a true content creator. That's for sure.
I said one thing. Can't upgrade his power game. It's tree game, the fake tree game in the background. I need my man to upgrade it, please. Hey, please upgrade the tree game, bro. It's for me. It's for me, bro.
There's nothing wrong with having a full plant in your crib. I have to make that abundantly clear. I got one right there, sitting right over there. But listen, it's been your video. I feel like you joking on me, you bastard.
It's proud of
that shit growing. It's in season.
Ain't grew in 3 years.
Listen, it's been your video. Questions, comments, concerns, leave it down in the description box down below. Yo, gentlemen, I wholeheartedly appreciate the conversation. I wholeheartedly appreciate what we're able to do here tonight. You know what I'm saying? Let's step outside this crib and make it happen. All right? Until next time, you two.
Peace.
Peace!